Welcome, everyone, to a different Final Cut. Yes, I'm always trying something new, trying something different. And so today, I figured I'd do a different kind of review that we've not done here on the show. I'm calling it the side panel edition of the Final Cut, as we take a look at comic books that I've been reading. I'm not sure how many of these we're going to do. We're going to try this out. But yeah, I've gotten into the comics, reading them again in the last couple of years. I did as a teen, and then I stopped. But Earth's Mightiest Critics, as well as Mr. Ian Simmons, got me kind of interested again in reading those wonderful, artful magazines and comics. And so, yeah, I've been reading them for a while. And so I figured, why not review some and talk about them to you in case you may have seen them? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So today we are looking at two comics from Dren Productions, which is a company that not only does print, but also digital format comics. They do games. They do a wide variety, multimedia platform company that really specializes in horror, fantasy, sci-fi, the genre type things that I do love. And so the two comics we're talking about today fit into two of those categories. First off, we are looking at Plan 59 from Outer Space. As you might have guessed, this is a sequel to Plan 9 from Outer Space, where this comic picks up soon after the events of Plan 9, where they send the aliens packing, thanks in part to a young woman who was being chased by our three famous ghouls from the first film. Well, we go ahead many years later, the aliens have returned, only instead of Plan 9, they've got Plan 59 and taking a very different approach, because these are very different aliens in charge of this project. One of them has a connection to one of the aliens in the first Plan 9 story. So once again, the woman is called upon to defend Earth and help try to get rid of the aliens before they actually are successful with Plan 59 from Outer Space. I really like the art in here. The art was done by Joaquin Gonzalez, and I thought it popped really good thanks to the coloring of Danielle Caramanico. I thought they both teamed up very well and give a very visually entertaining comic. Some of the panels in here really pop, and everything's clear as well thanks to the lettering of Taylor Esposito. And so all of that visually really was capturing for me and kept me interested. I liked how each panel felt a little different, and they play with the coloring too, where in the beginning it's more black and white, and then they switch to color, which is not only a rather drastic change, but also helps give the passage of time, which was a little bit difficult, I will say. After they switched colors, it took a little bit of time to figure out where in the timeline everything was, but I pieced it together, but I loved the concept they came up with, and the Plan 59 that the aliens came up with, making a social commentary on our reliance to technology. So still playing the horror sci-fi card, which is a genre very popular with making social commentary on various topics that are in our culture in the real world. And yeah, they cover that here. How things resolve. They resolve okay. One of the things is this kind of plays out just like the way Plan 9 played out. So it is a little bit, felt a little bit disjointed in parts, or jumped way ahead in some of the story elements, but I still follow what was going on, and I really enjoyed where they went with it. Especially enjoyed how they captured our original ghouls, played by Vampira, and we had, Tor's character in there as well, and of course, the not Bela Lugosi Dracula, the guy, walking around, always covering his face. Yeah, they've got that in here. So these folks have read Plan 9, and James Messia and Michael Dulce came up with this story and this concept, and I think they execute it well and make it for an entertaining read. I'll just say you gotta focus quite a bit, because it does get a little jumbled near the end, or at least for me, and I read through it twice, but I still thought that, yeah, this would make a great movie for a sequel to Plan 9. What would really make a great movie, though, is their other comic that we're reviewing today. That's Flesh-Eating Cheerleaders from Outer Space. Oh man, I tell you, this was comic. It just should have said comic for Mark. This has all of those wonderful B horror movie elements that I grew up with, all the exploitation elements. Man, it's just, yeah, we get the story here of an alien parasite that ends up crash landing on Earth, and soon we have some cheerleaders who have an unnatural craving for human flesh. And we see one by one as they start to enact their plan to take over the campus, but not everybody is willing to go, and some people think there's something odd going on, and so we see a professor who is dealing also with some extramarital issues, trying to deal with this string of murders that are happening on his campus, along with the detective and the law enforcement, and things really get bloody and come to a very interesting conclusion with flesh-eating cheerleaders from outer space. Yeah, this was like Night of the Creeps crossed with, Slaughter High. It just, I loved how this played out and all the characters that you had in here. It starts off with a bang. I mean, it just kicks right in. We get from page one, we get introduced to the nasties that are going to cause havoc for all of our characters. And they don't hold back on the risque elements in this comic book series either. This is a trade paper that I read, and yeah, they don't hold back. There's an uncensored and censored version, but the uncensored definitely captures more of that B-horror spirit. I did like, though, there is a shower scene in here where they use some very creative placements of the voice bubbles, and that was awesome. The talk bubbles being played, I thought that took a lot of creativity. The creative team behind this series of comics was writer James Messia. We had artist Philippe Obando, and colors by Beryl Vargas, and all do fantastic job. Of the two, I really enjoyed this one more from cover to cover, every page. And they cover a lot of other topics too in here that I did not expect. And there's plenty of gore, lots of gore, wonderfully drawn. The artistry, again, it really, each panel, you could see there's some care taken. You could see these folks who wrote this have watched a lot of those B-movie exploitation films. And it's just an interesting, fascinating story that there's even this interesting subplot they do with the parasites as well, which, again, didn't expect that, but it keeps you interested and adds another layer to these creatures that so they're not just mindless, beings, so who just want to eat flesh. So yeah, there's a lot of creativity here as well, and I think overall, Flesh-Eating Cheerleaders from Outer Space really should be read. If you're like your trauma, if you like your full moon, you like the 80s, early 90s exploitation B horror, this is going to be right up your alley, and it is a breezy read and just a wonderful experience. So there you have it, folks. Two interesting comics from Dren Productions. Just a sample of what they have. If you like this, let me know. I can do some more of these. I got a whole couple boxes of comics of series I've been reading, both DC, Marvel, and Indies. So love to hear your feedback. And if you've read any of these, well, let me hear your thoughts as well. Love to share and hear your experiences with comics from Dren Productions. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll put as much information as I can down below in the body of this video, and help us get over 2,500 subscribers. We're that close to getting there by the end of the year, and with your help we can do it. So like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you so much. Until next time, remember, keep on reading.